Hey Bubble family, welcome back to the channel. Firstly, I would like to apologise for not doing a video yesterday. I had a situation at home which meant that kind of after work it took my attention elsewhere. So I wasn't able to do a video yesterday, so I do apologise. So today I am doing my Thursday tantrum, I think I'm calling this today. So, I'm sure as most of you are following the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, and one of the things that has come up is that Amber Heard's team are obviously, like I say, unless you really don't know about this, but I'm sure most of you do, that obviously Johnny Depp is suing her for defamation because she accused him of physically abusing her. And one of their arguments, aside from the fact that most of it is bogus, as we know, we have certainly seen a lot of the footage that has come out. We've all heard the tapes of her mocking him, admitting to hitting him. But one of the things that has come out in Amber Heard's defense team are text messages. Now, obviously, I'm not going to put them up here because they are quite bad, and I will be honest and say that. But what I feel angry about is when people write text. I've done it. Admittedly, I have not written something as bad as kind of some of the things that perhaps Johnny Depp has written. But so what? You know, that doesn't mean that he has done what he's accused of doing. And I just find it so incredibly childish that, you know, when they have nothing else to go on, what they start to do then is really pick apart someone's character. You know, when you have the fact that obviously he has been accused of physical abuse, but there is no evidence aside from what has been orchestrated. There has been the fact that she apparently had all these bruises, which she used, is it Milani makeup to cover it up? But that has all come out that the makeup that she supposedly used wasn't even in circulation when she supposedly used it. Apparently it come out later, either later in the year or it was a few years later or something along those lines. I think it was like, I'm not sure 100%, but whatever it was, is the makeup that she apparently used from this company was not in circulation. So again, another lie. You know, we have the fact that she has these bruises apparently, but then the very next day she's on a photo shoot, or she went to a premiere and there is no sign of these bruises at all. Now, there's only so much makeup can do. Now, I appreciate there's photo editing, but when you're out and about at a film premiere and apparently one of the bruises was on her back and then she's wearing a backless dress, no sign of a bruise, no sign of any evidence, no sign of even makeup covering it. You know, and this is video footage from, you know, various people, media outlets, you know, so not everyone is going to kind of go, you know, in fact, if anything, they would notice this bruise and be like, okay, we're noticing a bruise on Amber Heard's back. What's that about? So they haven't, you know, so it's the fact that all of these things are being debunked. But of course, what they're doing also is that then this footage that has come out, and I think this is where my anger is the fact that who takes footage? Who, because I know that they were recording things for their own therapy, I believe. But who takes photographs of their husband asleep with apparently ice cream dribbling down his neck? But she's basically saying that he passed out drunk. Well, where's the proof of that? You know, because at the end of the day, he could very well be asleep in that moment, and she's decided to, you know, put something on him, or you know, it's almost like this, you know, she set him up. It's almost like this was so premeditated that she knew that she would need evidence of some description. So she's kind of set this up. Like there's some of the stage photographs of the drug paraphernalia and things like that. And I just think this is a very, very unhinged person. It's already come out that a professional said that she has histrionic disorder. You know, she's got not bipolar, but personality disorder. But then we come to these texts, and this apparently is now evidence of him abusing her. Well, if that's the case, then pretty much a lot of us are guilty then, because there are many of us in the heat of anger have said something. You know, I certainly have back in my heyday. You know, if I've got angry with a friend or angry outside, I've cussed and, said, if possibly even said, I'm going to slap you around the face or something to that effect, or even maybe sometimes even a little bit worse if I'm really angry. Now, I don't do it, and I've never done it, but we all say things in the heat of the moment. And when you're venting to a friend, even, I'm sure there are times when I've vented to my friend and said something, and without, you don't think that's going to be used in evidence at some point. And this is exactly what he's done. He's vented to a friend, albeit, okay, yes, some of the things he said are not very nice, and I will be honest and say that, but that does not mean that he did what he did. And I just find it incredulous that these lawyers will literally pick apart the most ridiculous things to state their case. You have a woman that has openly admitted in her own words to hitting him. She has openly admitted that no one will believe him. She has belittled him. She has recorded him. There's that famous footage where she's videoing him slamming cupboard doors. Well, do you know what? So what if you slam a cupboard door if you're angry? That's not hitting somebody. That's slamming a cupboard door. And you can see her smirk at the end, which was edited out, but then someone found the original footage and it's there. She planned that. She goaded him. So I'm sure that many of you have done things in your time that, you like say, where you vented and you've done something like that, but you wouldn't expect it to be held against you. It's almost the same as writing in your journal. When I was younger, I'd write in my journal that I hate my parents. Doesn't mean that I really do, but it's just that I'm angry in that moment. And, we've all said things. And I just get frustrated that that there's some way that they don't see that. They don't see that you can vent and you can say things, but actually it doesn't mean that you're the person that they're saying you are. She set him up on many occasions, but there is zero evidence of him hurting her physically. Do I think that they had a very toxic relationship? Absolutely. Do I think that Johnny Depp has got his own issues that need looking at? Absolutely. But she set him up. She knew, in my opinion, she knew exactly what she was doing. She's very similar, in my opinion, to somebody like Meghan Markle. She is very similar to somebody like Jodi Arias. She is somebody that is, given the right circumstances, sociopathic. She set him up. She knew what she wanted. She got the film roles from dating him because she was not well known before dating him. A bit like Meghan Markle, not well known before dating Harry. She wasn't well known. So to me, she orchestrated this. And of course, he got caught up in it all. This young, very attractive woman, wants to date him. He got caught up in it all. They had this whirlwind romance. She love-bombed him from the very beginning, a bit like somebody else we know. And then once she kind of got her claws in, it then started to kind of, the gaslighting, the creating him to feel like he's going crazy, probably, kind of manipulating his vulnerabilities, the way he is obviously quite a damaged person. She literally knew what she was doing. And then this is also somebody that pledged to give money to a charity for children, people in need, and she lied about it, which was one of the reasons why apparently Judge Warby, I think his name is, made the decision, albeit, behind the scenes, apparently he had connections with her. Apparently, I think his wife knew her, and his son worked for the Sun newspaper or something along those lines, because it seems to be the case in a lot of these things at the moment. So she never gave that money. And so basically the judge basically said, well, she can't be a gold digger if she's willing to give over 7 million to, 3.5 million to one charity and 3.5 million to the other charity, without even doing any fact checking to see if she'd actually given the money. Well, of course, oh, what a shock. It's turned out that she hasn't given that money to the charity. And apparently now she's got money struggles. But a little bit of good news is I have heard that apparently, and I do think the reason why, because there's a huge petition to remove her from Aquaman 2. At the end of the day, Johnny Depp was removed from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise because of what happened. So there's been a huge petition, which is now, I believe, at 2.3 million signatures. I mean, just get your head around that for a second. That is a lot of people. 2.3 million people have signed this petition. Get my words out. This petition to get her removed from Aquaman 2. Now, unfortunately, there's a contract. So when you have a contract, it's very difficult to get someone removed, especially because at the moment, the outcome of the court case isn't there. So they're already starting to film and things like that, because I think it's going to be released in 2023. But so what they've done to kind of, I'm guessing, to get around that, is they have limited her screen time. So apparently, from what I've been told, she has got 10 minutes of screen time in a 2-hour plus movie. And I just think that's wonderful. I mean, okay, albeit I would love her to not be in it and somebody else would have got the role. But I think because of the contract, I think there was no way they could get her out. So what they've done is they've limited her screen time. And so even though this is my Thursday tantrum in the fact that I am so sick and tired of how she has been depicted, in the fact that she's this innocent victim when she's not, the fact that you can use private text messages where you're venting and you're allowed to vent, you're allowed to use words, and that then means that you must be guilty then of a physical altercation. The way these lawyers can work at times, when they're sort of defending somebody that's clearly guilty, all the evidence points to her. But also, I am glad that she's only getting 10 minutes of screen time, and the fact that the judge in this case has not dismissed it and actually sees grounds for it to continue. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Even though I know in the comments what you're probably going to say, because pretty much all of you are Team Johnny, which I am too. But I'm Team Justice. It's not just I'm Team Johnny, I'm Team Justice. I am Team anyone that has been a victim of violence. This is not, I am so tired of the fact that it's almost like deemed that women can't behave this way. Men are always the ones that are depicted as the aggressor, when actually, no, women can be just as bad. And I think it's worse in a way because a lot of the time they get away with it because men feel ashamed to say, I've been abused by a woman. This woman abused him, and yet he was hauled through the courts, made, his whole kind of life out there, for the world to see. And it was almost like it was this victim shaming of like, he shouldn't have brought all this to the public, because we don't want to hear it. Well, no, he's got every right to defend himself. She emasculated him. She created him to feel less than the man that he is. Now, okay, yes, he has got demons and he's got those things that he needs to look at. But that doesn't mean that he hasn't got a right to stand up for himself and defend his honor, because being labeled someone who is like an abuser of domestic violence is something that will always stay with you. And it lost him a lot. And it's not just that, it's his children as well that are left with that scar. So absolutely, he deserves to win this case. He deserves to have a very public apology from the media. for the fact they've put him through this, you know, from Disney, from anyone that has done what they've done to help her, the abuser. Because I'm not being funny, if this had come out and it was the other way round, it was, you know, and this was true, he literally would have been hung, drawn and quartered, you know, because it's a man abusing a woman. But he's the victim here, and he still had that. She's the aggressor. She's the abuser, in my opinion. And as Trev says, without prejudice. Maybe there's a little bit of prejudice because I really don't like her. Do you know what? I don't like women who behave this way. I don't like anyone that behaves this way, but I don't like women who behave this way. You know, women can be just as bad. And I think it's about time. And what I'm hoping that this will do is this will allow men, if he wins this case, which I really hope he does, it will allow men to be able to come forward without shame, you know, because there is nothing to be ashamed of if you are abused by a woman. It's wrong and it shouldn't happen. And I think the more people that feel safe enough to come forward, the more we can highlight this. So yeah, so going back to that. So guys, what do you think? Put your comments in the comments. And as always, thank you. Now my merch has gone live. I don't make the prices, so please, it's a company that people use on YouTube. I think there's a few that you can choose, but they basically set the prices. And I just need you to know that I do not get hardly any money from the items, but I do get a little bit. So obviously it's my way of trying to build my channel, build my brand, and also, you know, money towards helping others. So all the proceeds will be going towards that. Anything that I earn from YouTube goes towards others. It goes to giving back to others. There is a 20% discount on the bubble mugs because unfortunately I couldn't do a full across discount because the profit margin isn't a lot. So I think it's like the profit margin is like $1 to $2. So on the bubble mugs, you can have different colors, and I will put pictures up here so you can see them. So there is a code, thank you 5, and I'll put that in the description box below. So you can go and you can order yourself a bubble mug. There are journals, there are hoodies, there are t-shirts, and it is my United Together collection. So this is my first campaign, my first collection, and it is United Together, because we are all together. Well, we should be, you know. So this goes towards, yeah, well, all of us being united together. You know, we are one race, the human race. So let's all support each other. But you can sit down with your cup of tea or cup of coffee or drink of choice in a mug. But there are flasks, there are other things there that you can use to be part of the bubble family. So people have asked me for a bubble mug. Well, it is there. I will be doing giveaways where I will buy an item and I will send it to you free of charge. So you will also get those as well. I am also thinking of doing memberships where you will also get a free item for joining up as a member. But that's going to come later on down the line. You know, just trying to get as much as I can to draw in the views, draw in the people joining this community where we are diverse, we have open communication, and you know, where you all feel safe to go into the comments, talk about your issues, and obviously I still keep giving you the tea and the therapy. So yeah, let me know what you think, and I hope you at least buy a bubble mug and utilize this 20% off, which is going to be until June. I will be doing regular promotions, but at the moment it is, you can buy a bubble mug. And I think maybe even a journal, because obviously you know how I encourage the journals, and you get 20% off if you use that code at the checkout. So I hope you enjoy, I hope. And yeah, and I will see you Friday as always with another video and my live with Trev for our usual shenanigans at 7 p.m. UK time. So join us there. I love you all, Bubble family. Have a great Thursday, and I will see you very soon. Bye, Bubble family.